Oh man, how can I say this? This movie on paper seems crafted just for me. I'm a huge undying fan of The Exorcist. It remains in both my favorite lists and my top 10 films of all time since I saw it. Chances are that you accept that all exorcism movies live under its shadow. There's not many that come close to it, and those that do come close to it have to take on certain alternative angles to approach the subject because the subject demands certain things to happen that may make certain movies just feel like they're on repeat. So you have to take something of a unique approach to even come close to being somewhat near The Exorcist. I don't think there's ever going to be a movie that beats it. That being said, The Pope's Exorcist, like I said, it seemed crafted for me. It's an exorcism movie, okay? And though I accept that there's never going to be a movie about exorcism that's better than The Exorcism, there's plenty of exorcism movies that I like, some that are great even. So this could have been one of those movies, right? Okay, the other thing that had this set in my mind as something that was catered specifically to me was that Russell Crowe was the star. Russell Crowe is my freaking boy, man. I love Russell Crowe. I'll watch a Russell Crowe movie even if it blows nuts. But then there was that other thing, guy. That other thing. This was, based, in that Hollywood approach, based on the true accounts or the purportedly true accounts of Father Gabriele Amorth, who was the chief exorcist of the Vatican. This is a guy whose books I read right around the early 2010s, and I was fascinated with the guy. Whether he's telling the truth or not, there was just something about this dude's accounts that were just enrapturing because they come off as incredibly genuine to his personal belief system. So if there was any scintilla of expectation, it was on that angle. Can they make an interesting movie about this very interesting man? Well, I'm going to tell you that The Pope's Exorcist fucking sucks. It sucks balls, okay, on all those angles. Is it a good exorcism movie? Fuck no, it stinks. It treads on super familiar tropes and cliches galore to the point where it's vomitous. You just feel like you're watching a watered down version of everything you've ever watched about exorcism with very little to none to no originality injected into it. Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is easily the best thing in this movie because it looks like he's having fun. You know what I'm saying? It does look like he's having fun, and he easily outshines anybody in this movie. And I don't know to what degree the actors here can be lauded on a normal performance, but here, they're just buckled down with some of the worst dialogue, just lame, pathetic, bland scripting. So I don't give a shit about any of them. They all stunk in my book. Franco Nero, Django, the original Django himself, is the Pope in this, so that's kind of cool, but it doesn't bring anything special to the role, so who cares, right? Russell is easily the most enjoyable thing, but that doesn't make a good movie. It's kind of like the movie Unhinged. The concept's fine and simple, and you could see an entertaining movie being made out of it, but it's so cliche and just blah that you don't care. But Russell stands out. I would say this is a lesser version of that. He stands out, but the material just doesn't let him do much with the character. And instead, he's just kind of like this funny little guy that, happens to be an exorcist. Then there's the stuff with, adapting somebody's life, or at least a version of it. Now, unlike Al, and I hate to rag on my boy, but I don't expect utter and complete loyalty to realism when you're doing a historical movie or a movie based on historical events. That's just how it goes. It's never happened in Hollywood. There's not going to have a one-to-one recreation of his life. I didn't expect that. Like I said, from the trailers, I was like, clearly they're going to take a lot of liberties with the character, and it's not going to be a dramatic thing. So I was, I was like, that's fine. I mean, as long as it's cool, I don't give a shit. That's the problem. It's not cool, and this could have been anybody. Why did it have to be a Father Amort? It could have been fucking anybody. If you're going to make a movie where the character's Father Amort, at least put an iota of him in there, I don't know, man. It just, it just fails completely to me. And here's the ultimate problem with the Pope's Exorcist. Not only are we building up on tons of tropes and tired ass cliches, but it all just descends into like CGI mush by the end. And you're like, wow, that's soulless, man. And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, they cap it off, at the ass end of the movie with like, hey, we're just doing some sequel bait here, baby. We're trying to set up. Clearly, they were trying to do a Conjuring universe type of thing. Except here's the thing. Think what you will about the Conjuring universe. They at least treat their subject matter with some form of respect and dignity and seriousness, This is a fucking joke. So it just feels like an insult when they're like, check it out, man. And that's not to say that there's not things in this movie that have nuggets of coolness in them. Like, I like the idea of what the possessing entity is and its ultimate plan, and even the sequel bait concept that ties into that is kind of cool. But it's just that it's in a movie that sucks and is like 99% ass. So I don't care. I just do not care, man. I'm going to put it out there, guy. The worst thing in this movie is the possessed. Okay? So if you have a movie about exorcism, the possessed is kind of important to the dynamic because it's the one person that's going tete-a-tete with a motherfucking exorcist. Okay? I don't know what the fuck this thing was, man. The kid, it's a young guy, a little kid, little guy, a little dude, a little boy. For some reason, the word boy escaped me. It's a little boy, and I'm not trying to shit on this kid. I'm not trying to shit on him. He's a kid. I'm not trying to shit on him. And at the end of the day, he's also just doing what he's told and directed to do, but he stunk. His physical performance was like what you would imagine some edgy teenager thinks possession looks like. Like, let me do that. Now, I'm not saying that he's the edgy teenager that said, I'm going to do it this way. Clearly, he was directed to perform in some sort of way to some degree. So whoever came up with that angle stinks. And because this is, like a possessed person, usually they do a little dubbing. So the vocal performance coming from whoever the fuck played it, wow, man. Terrible. You know what I'm saying? Just terrible. I don't understand why he had a British accent, like almost Cockney accent at the beginning of the exorcism. What was that? Can I call you Gabe? Gabe? What the fuck was that line also? Why did he have a Cockney accent? The movie's set in Spain. It's a fucking demon. Gabriella Mort is from fucking Italy. Why is this fucking demon have a goddamn Cockney accent? Is it something they cut out? I don't fucking know, but he had a Cockney accent. It just fucking disappears, and he's just like stereotypical demon-possessed voice. And the lines they give this guy, oh man, they're cringe. I hate to use that word, but this movie's dialogue is cringe as fuck, dude. Cringe. I hate it. It was ass. That was the worst thing in the movie. This just, I couldn't stand it. And it was so, obviously there's so much of it in the movie. So overall, this is a loud, kind of like messy, fucking, checking off the boxes type of affair. As a world builder, I mean, they're probably gonna make a sequel because they made a little money back. I hope it's fucking better than this. I mean, I'll give it a shot, whatever, just because it's my boy Russ. But I don't get it, man. There's some people that said this is what should have been the Exorcist sequel. Think what you will about the Exorcist sequel. this is not the alternative to take, man. Maybe they were saying that as an insult. I mean, I guess, like, that, this piece of shit's better than that. Even maybe that was what they were saying. I don't know, but I heard plenty of people say that. Like, this should have been The Exorcist. Why? Why would this be the fucking option? It stinks. Fucking stinks. There's no depth to the characters. Gabriel Amort gets the most depth, and it's literally just, he's a funny guy. He's a quirky little dude that's, like button heads with the church. He's a badass priest or whatever. But zero character development, man, from anybody. They all fucking stink, are like surface level characters. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It sucks. I'm going to give this one a fucking 2 out of 10. And that 2 is only because I love my boy Russ. And like I said, it does seem like he was having a little fun with the role. And, I'd even give it like a 3 maybe if the ending just didn't become CGI garbage. Maybe I'd give it, maybe. I mean, really, I think I'm being a little bit too generous with a 2, to be honest with you. Pope's Exorcist, stinker. I'd avoid. Definitely not a thing that I loved. Hate it. I'm out.